Hello everyone, my name is Joyce Gahator. Today I'm going to discuss some part of action research. Hope you listen and take notes the important topic. Methods, strategies of quantitative design. Experimental research uses a scientific approach towards manipulating one or more control variables and measuring their effect on the dependent variables. So, experimental. Think of experimental research like a carefully controlled experiment in a science lab. The goal is to understand cause and effect relationship. It's all about the testing of hypotheses, a specific prediction about how things will work. Experimental research is powerful because it allows you to isolate the effect of specific variables by carefully controlling the environment and manipulating variables. You can gain strong evidence of cause and effect relationships. This is crucial for understanding how things work, making predictions, and developing solutions. And also, next is the non-experimental. Non-experimental research describes a phenomenon simply as it stands, or a relationship between two or more variables, all without any interference. So, for example, a researcher wants to understand the eating habits of college students. They conduct a survey asking students about their typically daily food intake, frequency of eating fast food. So, the key points here is no manipulations and also exploring relationship. Next is the methods in mixed method. Number one is sequential. May begin with qualitative interview for exploratory purposes and followed by quantitative survey method for generalization. So, ano nga ba ang sequential? Sequential explanatory design is a mixed method approach where you start with qualitative research, like interviews, to explore a topic deeply and then use that information to create a quantitative survey, like questionnaires, to test your findings or a large group. It's like a starting with a close-up view to get a deep understanding and the zooming out to see the bigger picture. So next is the concurrent, converging or merging qualitative and quantitative methods. So concurrent, imagine two trains running side by side, each carrying different types of information. That's what this design is like. You collect qualitative data like interviews and quantitative data like surveys. At the same time, analyze them separately and then bring them together to create a more complete pictures of your research topic. It's like getting two perspective on the same issue, allowing for a richer and more announced understanding. So next is the transformative, using theoretical lens as an overarching perspective. Imagine a researcher using a special set of glasses to see the world through a lens of social justice. So, they are not just collecting data. They are actively trying to understand how power dynamics affect people's lives and using research to make a positive change. They might use qualitative methods like interviews to hear people's stories, combine that with the quantitative data to see patterns, and then work in power, marginalized groups, or challenge unfair systems. It's about using research to create a more just and equitable world. So our next is presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. It is the manner of organizing and reporting collected data while analyzing and interpreting them. Presentation can be done using tables, graphs, chart. So, presentation of data the purpose here is make data clear and easy to understand. The methods, tables, graph, chart. So analysis of data, the purpose here is to extract insight and patterns from data. So the methods is descriptive statistic, inferential statistic, correlation analysis, or the regression analysis. So lastly is the interpretation of data. So the purpose here is to explain the meaning of findings. So the key consideration here is context, limitations, and implications, and also the future research. So the context here is relate findings to the research question. The limitation naman is acknowledge factors that may affect results. Also, the implication discuss practical significance. And lastly is the future research, suggest areas for further study. Next is the conclusions and recommendations. So conclusion are the valid outgrowth of the findings you would like to share together with your research statements. So the definition is key takeaway and insight derived from research findings. So conclusions as connected to the findings must be directly supported by the data analysis. Relation to the research statements, you should answer the research questions and align with the original hypothesis, summarizing the significance of the study. So next is the recommendations. So recommendations include suggestions to future researchers who would like to pursue investigation related to the same problem. So recommendations is the definition of suggestion for future action based on a research findings. The target audience can be directed policymakers or future researchers. Connection to research problem should address the original issue explored in the research, offering solutions or direction for further investigation. For example, in a study, social media impact on teenager mental health. So the conclusion here is excessive social media on use is linked to increased anxiety and depression. So the recommendation here is suggest guidelines or for social media companies encourage healthy habits for parents and purpose further research on long-term effect. So the key points here is be clear, justified, and actionable in both conclusion and recommendations. So our next is references and appendices. So references are listing of sources of materials that are alphabetically arranged. So references, what they are? A list of all sources you cite in your research paper. This includes books, articles, websites, reports, and other material used to gather information or support your arguments. So the purpose here is academic integrity, giving credit to the original author whose work you use. Example, book Smith J 2003 or 2023. That is the example of references. Also, the appendices is the question. Appendices are questionnaire letters of transmittal legal documents and supplementary materials referred to or have been cited in the study. So appendices, what they are? Supplementary materials that are not essential to the main body of your report but provide additional information or context. The purpose here is the supporting details, offering detailed data, calculation, or technical information that will clutter the main text. So the key points here is organization. Reference and appendices should be clear, labeled, and organized for easy access. So next is the data collection tools. Number 1 is observations. So observations is watching people, events, or nothing physical characteristic in their natural settings. So observation is a research method where you systematically watch and record behaviors, events, or physical characteristic in their natural settings. It's like watching a scenes unfold and taking notes, but with a plan to ensure the data is reliable and accurate. Number two is the anecdotal records. A detailed descriptive narrative recorded after a specific behavior or interaction occurs. Think of them as a kind diary entry or for a researcher capturing the nuances and details of what happened. So number three is the field notes. So this is the similar to anecdotal records except that they include impressions and interpretation. While field notes are a reflection about what they observe. It's like adding your own thoughts and insight to the detailed description of the event. So number four is the ecological behavior descriptions. So this is the study of behavioral interaction between individuals within population and communities, usually in evolutionary context. Um, that is the ecological behavior descriptions. So number five is the diaries, personal accounts on a regular basis. So diaries are personal account of experiences, thoughts, and feelings written on a regular basis. They provide a detailed and intimate look into an individual life over time. So number six, interviews. A qualitative research method that relies on asking question in order to collect data and in-depth information. So it's like having a conversation to understand someone, experiences, perspective, and opinions. So that is the interviews. While focus group discussion naman is a discussion of a selected group of people on a given topic or issue, facilitated by a professional external moderator. They are like mini debates where participated with share with their thoughts and ideas, providing insight into a larger group perspectives. So next is the checklist, structured observations or evaluation of a performance or artifacts. So it helps to ensure that all important aspects are considered and provide a consistent way to assess something. So number nine is the test. Highlight quantitative tools that bring more reliable results. So these tools use mathematically models and algorithm to uncover patterns and relationship between large data sets, leading to more objective and accurate conclusions. So number 10 is the survey questionnaires. Used for collecting data in survey research includes a set of questions that explore specific contents. So survey questionnaire is are sets of questions used to gather data from a group of people. They are like structured interviews asking specific questions to explore a particular topic and collect information from a large number of individuals. So next is the authentic assessment. Measurement of demonstrated skills and competency through rubrics. Authentic assessment is a measure real-world skills and abilities by using rubrics, which are detailed scoring guides to evaluate student work. It focuses on how well students can apply their knowledge and skills in practical situations rather than just memorizing facts. So, next is the portfolio. A data collection portfolio is a structured collection of diverse data sources like survey, interviews, documents, etc., providing a comprehensive view of a research topic, supporting conclusion, and facilitating collaboration. So number 13 is documentary analysis, interpretation of recorded materials, student grades, faculty relation, enrollment records. So For example, analyzing student grades might reveal trends in academic performance across different courses or student demographics. This type of analysis helps researchers understand the context and meaning behind these documents, providing valuable information for decision making and further research. So number 14 is the narratives. So transcribe testaments about individual lives. By analyzing the stories, we can gain a deeper understanding of people, lives, and the context in which they live. And also, lastly, projective techniques. Doodles, graphical sketches to be interpreted by psychometricians or other concerned professionals, like incomplete picture or word association to elicit unconscious thought and feelings. Instead of doodles, these techniques are used to graphical sketches that are professionals like a psychologist or commentator interprets to understand an individual's personality, motivation, and concerns. So lastly, the principle of triangulation. It is the usage of employment multiple sources of data in order to establish trustworthiness or consistency of the fact. So, triangulation in research means using multiple sources of data to confirm the accuracy and reliability of findings. It's like checking a story from different angles to make sure it's true. So that's all my discussion. I hope you understand and learn a lot about my discussion. Thank you and God bless.